Okay, so we were holding in the Gemara on Daf Lamed Gimel Lamed Beis. Towards the top, the first word on the line is where it says Gedoyim. We are on the last word on the line where it says Ve'amai. This next sugya in the Gemara is a famous sugya which discusses the story of Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai when he was in the cave for many years and when he came out. Very geschmackige Gemara regarding Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai. Let's see. The Gemara goes back to an incident that we learned yesterday where it mentioned, and it mentions this a few times in Shas, that Rabbi Yehuda ben Rabbi Loi was considered to be the Rosh HaMedabrim B'chol Mokim. He was the person that got to speak first always. What's the reason for this? So the Gemara shares the story that brought this about. The Yasvi, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yosi, Rabbi Shimon. These three Tanaim were sitting together. V'Yosef, Yehuda ben Gerim Gabayu. Yehuda, a descendant of Gerim, was sitting amongst them as well. Pasach Rabbi Yehuda v'Amar. Rabbi Yehuda began, and he said as follows: Kamon noem aseim shalom bazu. How beautiful are the actions, the deeds of this nation of the Romans. What is this? What did he say? Tiknu shvakim. They established marketplaces. Tiknu gsharim. They established bridges. Tiknu merchatzais. They established bathhouses. So how wonderful are their services? Rabbi Yosi, when he heard this, shasak. He was quiet. He didn't respond. Then Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai responded and said, Va'omar, kol ma shetiknu. Whatever they've established, le tiknu elo l'tzayde chatzmon. They did all of this for their own sake, for their own purpose. Tiknu shvakin. They established marketplaces, lahoishif behen zaynis, for a place for zaynis to be there. Merchatzais, the bathhouses, la'adin behen atzman, just for their own benefit, for their own pleasure. Gesharim, the bridges that they built, was little mehen meches, so they can take taxes, the toll that people pay by the bridges. This was the conversation of the three Tanoim. Holach Yehuda ben Gerim, so this Yehuda ben Gerim went, the Sipir Devreim, and he related what he had heard from these Tanoim. So as Rashi here says, he didn't go straight to the authorities to report them, but he said it over to his friends, to his father, to his mother, and v'nishmu l'malchus. Eventually, word got back to the authorities, what was said. Amru, so they said as follows. We are on Daf Lamed Gimel Lamed Beis, right in the middle of the Amud. Yehuda she'ilah, Yehuda that elevated the status of the Roman government, Yis'ala. So his status should be elevated. And this is when he became the Nasi and he became the Rosh HaMedabrim B'chol Mokim. Yosi sheshasak, Yosi which remained quiet, Yigla l'tzipayri. He should be exiled to Tzipayri. Shimon shegina. And Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai that was said negative about the government, Yeharik should be killed. Azal hu brei, so he, Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai, together with his son Rabbi Lazar, went and Toshu bei Medrasha. They hid in the Beis Medrash. Kol yom every day, have a maisalu the bisu, his wife would bring him rifte, loaf of bread, v'kuza de maya, and a pitcher of water. V'karchi, and they would eat. They would remain there in the Beis Medrash all day and all night, and that's where they would eat. Ki toket gzerte, when the decree became stronger and they were afraid that they're really going to find them, Amalei lebrei, he said to his son, Noshim daiton kala. Women can be very easily swayed. Dilma mitzarila, maybe they're going to torture my wife. Umaglilon, umagalyalan, and she will reveal our hiding place. Oslo they went, Tosha b'ma'arte, they hid in a cave. Israchish nisa, a nest occurred, ivriluhu charuva ve'ena demaya. And a carob tree and a well of water, what was created for them over there to be able to survive, to eat and to drink in that place. And they would take off their garments, and they sat in the sand. They were covered with sand up to their necks, and that's how they sat there and learned Torah. Kula yaima, the entire day, garsi. They would sit and learn Torah. Be'idan sluya, when it came the time to daven, lavshu, they would get dressed. Michse, they would cover themselves. Umitzlo, and they would daven. As we learned already earlier in the Gemara, that hichoin lekras lekechi Yisrael, when you daven, you have to get dressed properly to be able to daven. From here you see, this is a raya, that even though Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai and Rabbi Lazar were teirasam nasam, and it says that a person that's teirasam nasi does not have to be mafsik for tefillah, but nevertheless, even a person that's teirasam nasi from time to time does daven, as we see right over here. V'hadar, when they finished davening, mishalchu manayu, they would take off their garments and they would cover themselves again in the sand till their neck. In order that the clothing should not become worn out. Eisvu, they sat there for 12 years in the cave. Then finally, Eliyahu came at the opening of the cave, and Omar, and he announced, Man leidil bar yochai de mis Kaiser. Who will notify Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai that the Kaiser has died? Ubatel gzerte, and the gzere has been nullified, and he can come out. So when they heard this, Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai and his son Rabbi Elazar heard this, Nafku, they came out of the cave. Chazu inshi, they saw people, the kokarvi vizari, people that are plowing and planting and are working in the field. Omar, so Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai, so they said, Manichen, Chai Eilam v'Hiskim b'Chai Yishah. They leave everlasting life to sit and learn Torah, and instead they're busy with temporary life, working in the field. They couldn't handle what they saw. People should be learning Torah all day. Wherever they would look with their eyes, miyad nisraf. Immediately it was burnt. So what was the expectation of Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai? Their expectation was that a Yid has to sit and learn Torah all day, as we already learned in Gemara and Brachas. The Gemara says that Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai's opinion is a person that sits and learns Torah all day, the Eibishter benches him, that malachta nasas alidei acherim. So that's what they said. Let everybody go and learn Torah, and the Eibishter will bench them, the malachta nasas alidei acherim, just like the Eibishter gave man to the Yidden in the Midbar. The Eibishter can also give the Yidden what they need now if they sit and learn Torah all day. Yatzasa Baskal v'amra, a Baskal came out and announced, lahem, and said to them, you came out of your cave to destroy my world. Go back into the cave. Hador, Azul, Esivu, and they went and they sat there for Teresa Yarchi for another 12 months. Yarchi Shata, 12 months of the year. Amri, and they said to themselves when the 12 months were up, Mishpat Rishayim beGehenim, the judgment, the punishment of Rishayim in Gehenim is Yud Beis Chodesh, is 12 months. So they were wondering whether it's time for them that they can come out. Yatasa Baska v'Amra. So now Baska came out and announced, Su'u mimaraschem, come out of your cave. Nafku, they came out of their cave again. Kol heichid avemachi Rabbi Elazar, wherever Rabbi Elazar would destroy, have a masir Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Shimon would heal, he would bring it back. Amaloi, he said to his son, Bini, my son, dai la'olam anivata. It's enough for the world that there are just two individuals, me and you, that are devoted to sitting and learning Torah all day. So the Rebbe in one place explained the story here, that when they came out the first time, so they were so removed of the Welt and the existence of Olam Hazeh that they couldn't handle the existence of Olam Hazeh b'chlal. So l'chayr, if they went back in for a 13th year, how did that change? It should have even removed them further from Olam Hazeh. From here's a raya that when you reach an even higher level and you get to a greater revelation, that can penetrate even the Gashmis of the world, and you're able to tolerate the existence of the Gashmis of the world and draw down the revelation into the world. And that's what Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai reached by the 13th year. And the Rebbe says, you see, the number 13 in Torah is considered to be a number that's connected to Lamaylam and Ateva. Where do you see this? The Yud Gimel Midas HaRachamim, which draws a special koyach of the Eibishter's Rachmanis into the world. After 12 years, 12 shows on a cycle of Teva, the 12 months, and in Kabbalah talks about Yud Beis Gvulei Alaksen. But you come to the number 13, which is Lamaylam and Ateva, the 13th year they were in the cave and they came out, he brought a koyach of a lakos that's able to penetrate into Teva itself, and therefore he was able to heal and bring back what Rabbi Elazar was destroying. The Gemara continues what happened after this. So it was Friday afternoon. Bahadi Panya de Maila Shabbat. It was Friday late afternoon. Chaza Ahu Saba. They saw this old individual. They have a nokit trei medani yasa. Virohit. He's holding two bundles of hadassim, and he's running on time to make it on time on Shabbos. Bein hashemashos. It was by the time of bein hashemashos. Amrulei. They said to him, Hani lamalach, what do you need these bundles of hadassim for? Amalahu, he answered them, L'kovet Shabbos. I'm going to bring them home, L'kovet Shabbos. So they asked him again, V'tisagilach b'choda. One should be enough. Why do you need two bundles? So he answered, Chad keneged zocher, v'chad keneged shomer. One is for zocher, and the other is for shomer. Amalei lebrei, so now Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai said to his son, Chazi, look and see, kama chavivin mitzvahs al Yisrael. How beloved the mitzvahs are upon Yidden, they're mahader, and they bring home these things, and they bring them too for Zachar and Shomer, Yosef Dataya. So this to appease them, that they saw the good in Yidden, that they're doing mitzvahs. Weiter the Gemara says, Shomer Pinchas ben Yair heard Chassani, it was his son-in-law, that Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai, his father-in-law, came out of the cave. The Nafak la pei, and he went out to greet him. And then Aile lebeibani, he escorted him into the bathhouse. Havaka arech le bisre, he was soothing his flesh to after all these years that he was in the cave. Chazi, and he saw the Havebe pili begufe, there were big cuts in his skin. Havakabachi, so Pinchas ben Yair was crying. V'kanasru d'ma'is einei, and the tears of his eyes came down, and then they went onto the skin of Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai, v'komitzavchale, and he was screaming from pain. Amalei Pinchas ben Yair said to his father-in-law, Oy li sherisicha bekach, oy vey that I'm seeing you in such pain, in such a kind of a way. Amalei, Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai responded, Ashrecha sherisani bekach. Fortunate are you that you see me now like this after these 13 years I was in the cave. Shel male, leirisani bekach. If you haven't seen me now after all these years, loy matzasa bekach. You wouldn't find in me, you wouldn't see in me the great milas that I've reached now after all these years. And what are they? They may kara, before he went into the cave, ki have a makshir Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai kushya. When Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai would ask a question, kushya. Have a mefarik le Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair treisa peruki. Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair would give him 12 answers to every question. Safe, but now afterwards, after he came out of the cave, he have a makshir Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair kushya. When Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair would ask a question, have a mefarik le Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai esrim va'arba peruki. Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai would answer him 24 answers to every question. Now the Gemara says, what else did Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai do? Omar, said, Hoil v'israchish nisa, since a miracle has occurred to me and my son. So Ezel iskin milsa, let me go and fix something. Let me help people and rectify something. Chsiv, like you see by Yaakov Avinu, the pasuk says, Vayava Yaakov shalem, and Yaakov, when he came from Lavan and he came from Esav and he came whole, complete. And V'amarav, Sholem begufoi, he was whole with his body, Sholem b'mamaynoi, whole with his possessions, and Sholem b'toirasai, and he also came whole with all of his Torah. Then what does the pasuk say by Yaakov? Vayichen es pnei ha'ir, and he camped over there in the city. What did he do? What does this mean? Omar Rav, so there are three opinions here. Matbeya tikkun. Rav says that he established a new coin, a new currency they can use with a picture of for their the place that he was in. Shmuel Amar Shvakim Tikkun Lahem, he established marketplaces. But Rabbi Yochanan Amar Merchatzais Tikkun Lahem, he established bathhouses for them. So he was looking to do something good for the people there after he was saved from Lavan and Esav. So Amar, similarly, Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai said, Ikke milsa de boilet kuni, is there something that has to be fixed? Amrulei, they said to him, Ikke duchte de ispe safik tuma. There's a place where there's a doubt whether there's somebody buried there and there's tumah there, vislut saira lekayanim, and because of this the kayanim have pain, la kufi, that they have to make a detour and go around this area, they can't pass through here. So this is something that somebody has to check out to see if the kayanim can pass through. Omar, so then Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai said, Ikke inish, is there somebody that knows the Yoda, this Chazik Hochatara, that once upon a time this place was used in purity? In other words, he wanted to make sure that this wasn't a place that was mamish established as a beis hakvaris, because if it was, then he's not going to be able to do anything. So he wanted to know whether it was once used betara. Amaleahu Sabeh, so an older individual came and said, Kan kitzitz ben Zakkai turmisi truma. Over here in this place, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai caught turmisin, which I believe are lupins, of truma, and therefore it was once used betara in this place, so it's not a beis hakvaris, but could be that there are some people buried over here. So Avediyu Nami Hachi, so Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai did the same thing. He cut these vegetables open and threw them down on the ground. Kol heichad avekoshi, wherever the ground was hard, Tahare, he said this place is pure. And wherever the ground was soft, Tzaine. So then he made a sign that that's a place where a person is buried. So Rashi over here brings from what it says in the Yerushalmi that what happened was that when he put down these vegetables in the place, so the dead body sort of came up and he was able to see exactly where is a place that somebody is buried there to know that the Kainim can walk there, and everywhere else the Kainim were able to go there. Now, Omarahu Sabeh, so this same old individual came and said to Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai, Tir ben Yochi beis hakvaris. What is he doing? Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai is making a beis hakvaris, a place that's tar for kohanim to walk there. Amalei, Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai responded very, very sharply. Ilmale ayise mano, if not for the fact that if you were not with us, va'afila ayise mano, or even if you were here with us, but v'leinim neisei mano, you didn't count along with us. You didn't tell me before that this place was not established as a beis hakvaris. So then yafe ataymer. So then what you would say could be it was good because you would think that maybe this place is a beis hakvaris. But achshav shayisei manu. Now that you were with us here before, v'nim neisei manu, you were counted along with us. You said that it's not a beis hakvaris. So how do you now argue with me? Yaimru, people are going to say, zaynais mefarchesais zuazu. Zaynais help each other to braid each other's hair, to beautify one another. They do support each other. Talmidei chachamim like kol shekain. How much more so talmidei chachamim should support each other? So why aren't you supporting what I'm saying? Yov bein, Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai gave a look at him with his eyes, and v'noch nafshe, and he passed away. Nafak l'shuke, then Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai went out into the marketplace, chazdi Yehuda ben Geidim, and he encountered this Yehuda ben Geidim, which was the one that began the whole story that Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai had to hide for 12 and then 13 years. And the 13th year. Omar, he says, Adayin, yesh lezeh ba'ilam. This individual is still draying zich around here in the world. Nasam ba'einav, he took a look at him, v'aso gal shel atzamis, and he turned him into a pile of bones, which is not only that he passed away, but like a person that has passed away a long time ago. That's the end of the sugya of Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai. Let me just mention one detail that the Rebbe spoke about over here in the Gemara. That after Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai came out of the cave, so l'chatchila the Gemara says that they would burn everything and how separated they were from the Gashmias of the world. But then eventually we see that Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai took the completely opposite approach, a 180-degree turnaround. He was asking, what could I do for the community? What could I do for the people? He didn't just go and seclude himself and learn Torah like continuing to be somewhere in a room in a cave. He wanted to know, was can I help and what can I help people in the city, in the place over here? And not only that, he attended to a place of tumah, of a beis hakvaris, the aviyah veisa tumah, to be metayered. He wanted to bring whatever holiness he had and bring it into the lowest element of existence in Olam Hazeh. That's what Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai did. We begin a new Mishnah. Zog the Mishnah. Gimel dvarim tzarech adam loima b'toch beisai erev Shabbos. There are three things that a person has to say and ask in his house on erev Shabbos, which are important to be done before Shabbos. Im chashecha, right before Shabbos begins. Rashi says this is not to be said earlier on in the day, because then people might just say, oh, we have more time, and they'll procrastinate. So it has to be said right before Shabbos comes in. Isartem was meiser taken of the fruits and whatever is going to be eaten on Shabbos, because on Shabbos you can't take meiser because you're fixing it, you're preparing it. It's like being mesaken something, like being mesaken a vessel, so it's not allowed to be done on Shabbos, midrabanan. Eraften, did you make an eruv, which would refer, like Rashi says, an eruv tchumen, to be able to walk a further distance, or an eruv chatzeris, to be able to carry in the courtyard. And the third thing, hadliku esaner, they should light Shabbos candles. So as Rashi says, when it comes to the third thing, he doesn't ask, he says, you should light Shabbos candles, because he sees that the candles weren't lit yet. Safek chashecha, safek ene chashecha, when it comes to the time after Shkia, and it's a safek, if it's considered to be night or not night, and as this is called always, bein, hashemashos, as we'll see soon in the Gemara. So at that point, ein meiser nesavadai, you can't take meiser if something certainly has to have meiser taken from it. So even though taking meiser at Bechlal on Shabbos is a gzeira midrabanan, that it looks that it's the person is fixing it and so on, yet the Tana of this Mishnah holds that the shvus, a gzeira midrabanan, is also to be done at the time of bein hashemashos. They mat bilan es kelim, and you also can't be toivel kelim that have to be toivel to be able to be fit for use. Also, again, it looks like you're fixing it and preparing it to be able to be used. And of course, you can't light Shabbos candles on this time. Lighting Shabbos candles is mamish malacha. Sagt the Mishnah weiter. Aval, what could you do in bein hashemashos? Meiser and esad mai. You can take meiser from mai, which is something that comes from amaratzim, and most amaratzim do give meiser. Uma arvin, and you can make an eruv. The Gemara will ask the question. Before we said that you have to ask about the eruv before bein hashemashos. Now it's saying about the eruv during bein hashemashos. V'toimnin esachamin, and you could take hot foods and insulate it that it should be kept hot for Shabbos. That's allowed to be done on Shabbos, and as we'll see in the Gemara, more details about this halacha of atmana. So the Gemara begins. Mina and Amili. From where do we know what it says here in the Mishnah? So according to some Rishonim, the Gemara's question is only regarding Hadlakas Aner. According to other Rishonim, this refers to all three things that are mentioned in the Mishnah. Rabbi Shimon ben Levi, Rabbi Shimon ben Levi said, Makra, the pasuk says, V'yadaita, you should know, Ki shalom ha'halech, that there's peace in your tent, Ufakadata navcha, and you should command the people in your abode, V'loi techtan, you won't sin. So as I said, according to some, this refers specifically to Shabbos candles because it mentions shalom. And Shabbos candles are lit for shalom bayis. Sagt the Gemara weiter, Rabbi Bar Avuna said, Afagav de Omer Rabbanon, Shloisha Dvarim, Tzarech Adam Loima v'chulu, that there are these three things that a person has to mention in his house right before Shabbos. Tzarech limemrino benichis, don't think that you have to say it in a very sharp tone and in a demanding tone, but you should say it calmly. Ki heichi de lakablinu minei, in order that his words should be accepted and they should listen to him. Ravashi says, Ana loishmieli ha de Rabbi Bar Avuna. I did not hear this statement that Rabbi Bar Avuna said. The kiyanti misvara, but I did so on my own, with my own seichel, understanding that it makes sense not to demand it and scream, but to say it calmly. Interessant, I'm just thinking as I'm reading this, what's the nafka mina? Why is the Gemara adding this that Ravashi over here said? If a person is saying it calmly, my nafka mina, if he says it calmly because Rabbi Bar Avuna azay gesagt that you have to say it calmly, or you say it calmly because on your own you understand you have to say it calmly. So it seems like that if you only say it calmly because yen hat gesagt to say it calmly, but you yourself are angry, that's not good enough. What Rav Ashi is saying is that a person has to work on himself, misvara, that he should be calm and speak that way without being told that he should speak this way. Okay, sagt the Gemara weiter. Ha gufa kasha. Now going back to the Mishnah regarding the Eidov, so we have here a pretty clear contradiction in the Mishnah. Amrit, in the first part of the Mishnah, it says, Shloisha dvarim tzarech adam loima b'teich beisai erev Shabbos. There are the three things that a person has to say before Shabbos. Meaning, im chasheicha, before it's dark. Im chasheicha, before it's dark, you say those things, but safek chasheicha, safek ein chasheicha, loi. Once it's bein hashemashos, it's too late. And one of them was the Eidov. You can't make an Eidov after it's bein hashemashos already. But then later it says, Safik Sheikha, Safik Ein Sheikha, in the time of bein hashemashos, Ma'arev. You could make an Eidov at that point. So why does he have to mention this before bein hashemashos? So that's the pretty clear contradiction we have here in the Mishnah. The Gemara here says a siman, and what the siman is, as the Marsha here says, this is regarding this statement that was brought from Abba in the name of Rav Chia, Barashi in the name of Rav. And it's bringing you the various different places over here in Masechta Shabbos that he, the same Amayra, said this in the name of Rav. One was Begufia, right over here in this case. Another one is Zimra, another one is Sifra, another one is Bechavla, another one is Demilsa. These are various different places that these Amiroim said these halachas. So the Gemara continues. Amar Abba, Rab Abba, Amar Rav Chia, Bar Ashi, Amar Rav. To answer our question, what's the story with the Eruv? Like Kashya, there's no question here. Kan Beiruvet Chumen, Kan Beiruvet Chtzeres. When you talk about Eruvet Chumen, since Eruvet Chumen, according to some opinions, not walking out of the Tchum Shabbos is Minat Torah. Even according to the opinions that it's Midrabanan, but it has a source, it has a remez in the Torah. So therefore, that's something that should not be done bein hashemashos. Eruvet Chatzeres, which is an institution purely of the Chachamim, so that's something that they were making that you could do it bein hashemashos. Sagt the Gemara weiter, V'amar Rave, now Rave said another halacha. Amru loi shnayim. Two people said to somebody, Tzei v'orei v'aleinu. Go and make us an Eid of Tchumen. It's actually machlokes Rashi and Tosfos. Rashi says, when it says orei v'aleinu, it's talking about an Eid of Tchumen. According to Tosfos, it's talking about an Eid of Chetzeres. Le'echad, Eid of olav mibayid yain. For one of them, this person went and made the Eid of on time, when it was still day. And for the other individual, Irav bein hashemashos. He made the Eidov for him. Later on, it was already bein hashemashos when he put the Eidov there. Now, what else happened here? For the person that he made the Eidov for him during the day, Nechal Eruvoy bein hashemashos. By the time bein hashemashos came about, somebody ate up the Eidov. Somebody, there was no Eidov to be found there then. The Irav bein hashemashos, and the one that the Eidov was made for him, on the time of bein hashemashos, which is pretty late, it's already after day, it's bein hashemashos, nechal eruvoy mishachashecha. By the time night came, his Eruv was gone, it was eaten up. What does it say? What did Rava say? Shneim kana. The Erev Tchumen or the Erev Chetzeres works for both of these people. Shneim kana Erev, that is. You read it together. Both of them were kind of the Erev. Fragt the Gemara the obvious question. Manavshach. Whichever way you look at this, there's a problem here. If bein hashemashos is during the day, so then basra likni. So then the second individual that his Erev was made bein hashemashos, so that should work. But kama loy likni, the first individual, the Erev should not be good, because by the time bein hashemashos came, his Erev was gone. Vi bein hashemashos lalyahu, and if bein hashemashos is considered to be nighttime, kama likni, the first person, his Erev was made before bein hashemashos, so it should work for him. Basra and the other individual, the second person, loy likni, should not work for him, because his Erev was made already bein hashemashos. It's too late. And for the Gemara, bein hashemashos sveikuhu. Bein hashemashos is a time which is a suffik yom and suffik laila. And sveike the rabbanon lekula. For sveike the rabbanon we are mekel. That's so as I mentioned, according to Rashi, even though the Gemara just said before that by eruvet tuchumen you shouldn't be doing a bein hashemashos, but b'diavad you mekel. Or according to Taisus, it's talking about Erev Chatzeres. We're learning about Erev Chatzeres. The minig is that if you have to make an Erev Chatzeres, you can make one Erev Chatzeres for the whole year, and the minig is to make it on Erev Pesach, and Erev Chatzeres, and you keep the matzah and whatever for the whole year, the Erev Chatzeres. And today also, you have to make an Erev Tafshilim, which is a different type of Erev, but we have to make both an Erev Chatzeres if you have to, and an Erev Tafshilim. So the Gemara weiter. Now the Gemara goes on to the next part of the Mishnah where it was speaking about Hatmana. It said in the Mishnah that you could do Hatmana during bein hashemashos. So Rashi here says, when the Mishnah says you can do Hatmana during bein hashemashos, there are two types of Hatmana when you insulate food. One is a Hatmana that's Meisef Hevel, that it actually adds to the heat. You can be Meisef Hevel through... we'll learn about this later in about 10 or 15 blot from now when you put it into salt or into other lime that add heat and it helps it boil even more. Or you can put it into towels or whatever else just to insulate the heat. That's not Meisef Hevel. Doesn't add any heat. The B'chlal, usually when it just says plain Atmana, it's talking about Atmana that doesn't add any heat. So when the Mishnah says that you're allowed to do Atmana during bein hashemashos, it's talking about the Atmana that does not add to any of the heat. So that means, though, that once Shabbos arrives, it's not bein hashemashos. If it's at night and Shabbos is already fully here, so then you're not allowed to do any Atmana. You're not allowed to do even a Atmana which is not Meisef Hevel, which does not add any heat. So the Gemara now explains this. Rava said, why was it said? And based on our Mishnah, as I just explained, once it's dark, once it's Shabbos, you're not allowed to insulate your food, to keep it hot, to preserve the heat, even just to preserve the heat. Once it's dark, why not? Because there's a gzeira, maybe your food might not be warm enough, you might want to boil it, and then insulate it. So a person might come to boil it on Shabbos. Amalei Abaye, so Abaye said, if there's such a gzeira, ihachi bein hashemashos naminig, that during bein hashemashos we should apply this gzeira as well. Especially the Tana of this Mishnah holds that gzeiris midrabanan apply bein hashemashos. Amalei, so he answered him, by bein hashemashos is no issue. Stam k'deiris reitzulchein. Usually by bein hashemashos, the food and the pots are boiled because he takes it off the fire right before Shabbos. So therefore there's no concern that he's going to come to boil it. Now another thing Rava said, why was it said? You're not allowed to insulate your foods for Shabbos if you're insulating it in something that adds to the heat. And even if you're doing that Friday before Shabbos, you're not allowed to put it. You're not allowed to insulate it in such things. And as I said, we'll learn about this in Daf Mem Zayin. We'll see more about this. So the Gemara says the reason is the gzeira is that a person may come to put his food into coals, into ashes, that is actually, which also has coals in it. And therefore, there's a problem to do that. So Abaye right away asks, let him put around coals and ashes to insulate the heat. What's the problem if he's doing it on Friday afternoon? And for the Gemara, he may come on Shabbos to rake the coals, to tamper with the coals, and then he's going to cook it more, it's going to boil the food more on Shabbos. Now the Gemara returns to the inyan of bein hashemashos, and the next blot or so is going to be about bein hashemashos. We're going to try to get through the rest of the Amid for today.
So what's the definition of bein hashemashos?
The definition of bein hashemashos, the Gemara will discuss right now. Bein hashemashos is usually from after the sun goes down. Shkias Hachama, when the sun comes down. And we'll see right now the Gemara will describe, there's actually 3 or 4 opinions here, exactly the duration of bein hashemashos. Let's see. Tana Rabbanon, the Rabbanon learned as follows. Bein hashemashos. What is exactly bein hashemashos? It's a time which is safek min hayom umin halayla. Possibly it's day and night, because this is the time of transition, so therefore it's not day and not night, but it's actually both. It's day and night. Safik kulim min hayom, or possibly it's considered still to be fully daytime. Safik kulim min halayla, or possibly it's considered to be fully nighttime. And therefore, matilan oisai l'chaymer shnei yomim. Besides the fact that we're machmer, that it might still be day, and it might be the following night, we're also machmer to consider it to be day and night at the same time. And the Gemara will question this and explain what the nafkamina of this would be. Now the Braisa continues and says, Veizeo bein hashemashos. What exactly is the time period of bein hashemashos? Mishetishka chama, from when the sun comes down. And we'll see later in the Sugya on Daf Lamed Hey, after Yontiv Mitzvah, various opinions regarding this. But in this simple pshat, Rashi says, when the ball of the sun goes down from the horizon, when it disappears from the horizon, that is Shkias Hachama. That's the beginning of bein hashemashos. Kozman shepnei mizrach madimin. As long as there's a reddening in the sky, in the mizrach of the sky, the glow of the sun goes down on Ma'ariv, on west, and in the east of the sky, there is still some red there. So then that's part of bein hashemashos. When that's gone, so then we know it's night. Then the Braisa says, Hichsiv hatachtain. If the bottom part of the sky became dark, but v'loy hichsiv ha'elyain, the higher part of the sky did not become dark, bein hashemashos, it's still bein hashemashos. The Gemara is going to question this, that it seems to be sort of a contradiction here. We'll see in a moment in the Gemara. Then the Braisa continues, Hichsif ha'elyon v'hishvil ha'tachtain. If the top part of the sky and the bottom part of the sky, closer to the horizon, all became dark, so then zeu laila, that's night. Divrei Rabbi Yehuda, this is the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Nechemya says the duration of bein hashemashos is from Shkias Hachama kidei sheyahalach adam mishetishka hachama chatzi mil. As long as it takes for a person to walk a half a mil. So we know a mil is 18 minutes. The same measurement that's used also beneged to chametz, that something becomes chametz if you allow it to sit for 18 minutes. A half a mil would be 9 minutes. Rabbi Yosi says, and we had this right at the beginning of Brachos of Beis and with Beis, bein hashemashos is keherefayim. Bein hashemashos is like a blink of the eye. Zeh nichnas v'zeh yetzer. The day leaves and the night comes, and it's mamish a blink of an eye. The efsher lamed olav, you can't pinpoint the exact moment of what bein hashemashos is. Okay, the Gemara is going to now go through all of these details that we just learned in this Braisa. The first thing the Gemara begins with, Omamar. So it said in this Braisa, Ma'atilen oisei l'chayim shnei yomim, that we place the stringency of 2 days regarding bein hashemashos. Fragt the Gemara, Lamai hilchasa. Where is this relevant that there's a chumrah of 2 days? So Rashi says the fact that there's a chumrah of 1 day, whether the chumrah of the day or the chumrah of the night, is very easy to understand. If it was Erev Shabbos and it's bein hashemashos and a person did a malacha, so now he's going to have to bring a Osham Tolui, because maybe he was Mechal Shabbos. If it was Matzah Shabbos, we're going to have to say that it's the chumrah that it's still day, because maybe it was Mechal Shabbos. So therefore we'll have to bring an Osham Tolui for that. So that's simple to understand what the chumrah is. But what does it mean, the chumrah of 2 days? The chumrah here is going to be regarding the tumah of a zav. Keditnan, as we learned in the Mishnah. So here the halacha of a zav is, you have 3 levels of a zav. There's a zav that had 1 re'iyah. He saw once an emission of his body that makes him a zav, where he could toivel, go to the mikveh, and immediately become pure that night. Then you have a zav that had 2 re'iyahs, twice in 2 days. So then he has to wait 7 days. And then you had a zav that saw 3 days consecutively, and then he has to wait 7 days, go to the mikveh, and bring a carbon as well. But what happens if he sees 3 days and there's a break in between? It wasn't consecutively. So then he doesn't have to bring the carbon. It has to be 3 days, one after the next. So here's where the nafkamin is going to be. So we learned in the Mishnah, Rosh ne yomim bein hashemashos. A person has a re'iyah, he sees an emission 2 days bein hashemashos. For example, Sunday night and Monday night. So this is going to be a safek l'tumah, this is a suffix for tumah, and it's also a carbon. It's also going to be a suffix for a carbon, because when he saw Sunday night, it could be that he saw Sunday day. When he saw Monday night, could be it was really Monday night going into Tuesday already. So he had a break of a day in between. So he's not considered to be a Zav that saw 2 days, one after the other. So therefore, he's only going to be a Zav with one Riyah. Or maybe, no, Sunday night is already Monday. It's the bein hashemashos is already Monday. And the bein hashemashos of Monday night is Tuesday. So he saw 1 day after the other, and therefore he's going to be Tomei when he had 2 Riyas consecutively. And therefore he's going to be Tomei for 7 days. That's the suffix b'negei to Tumah. Then there's the suffix b'negei to carbon. So Rashi says, b'negei to carbon as well. If a person saw a Riyah during bein hashemashos and the Riyah lasts a certain period of time, so then it's possible the Riyah of Sunday night could be a Riyah of Sunday day and Sunday night. Same thing with Monday night. It could be a Riyah from Monday day and Monday night. So it would come out that he has 3 Riyahs of Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and then he would have to bring a carbon for this as well. So this is the situation where we're machmer for bein hashemashos, that it's like 2 days, and therefore he's going to have to end up bringing a carbon. Okay? Ra yoim echad bein hashemashos. If he only saw once bein hashemashos, suffix l'tumah. Then it's only suffix for tumah, that perhaps he saw what he saw then goes for 2 days, and therefore he's going to be tomei. But for a carbon, it certainly won't be a suffix. This explains the first part of the Braisa. Now the Gemara goes to the next part of the Braisa, which discusses the duration of bein hashemashos. And the Gemara asks an apparent contradiction. Oh, gufa kashya, you seem to be contradicting yourself here. Amrit, first you say, Ezeu bein hashemashos, what is the duration of bein hashemashos? Mishetishka chama, from the time when the sun goes down, kol zman shepnei mizrach madimin, as long as there's still some reddening in the sky on the east. Now that it would seem if so, but if the bottom of the sky on the east became dark and there's no reddening there, even if the top of the sky is still not dark, Laila, that's already considered to be night. That's what it seems from the first statement of the Braisa. It's light, Lailahu. But for Hadatani, immediately afterwards it says, even when the bottom part of the sky, including the mizrach of the sky, becomes dark and it's not red anymore, and the top of the sky is not dark anymore, bein hashemashos, that's still bein hashemashos, because the top of the sky is not dark. So he says that all of a sudden you're saying that bein hashemashos lasts even longer. What's going on here? So the Gemara brings 2 tirutzim to this question. Rabbi says the name of Rabbi Yudah Mashmul, Kroich V'tani. You have to learn it all together. And you read it as follows. Ezeu bein hashemashos, what's the duration of bein hashemashos? Mishetishka chama, from the time the sun goes down. Kol zman shepnei mizrach madimin, as long as there's a reddening in the east of the sky. And then continuing further, v'hichsef atachtoin, v'lo hichsef elyon, even if on the mizrach and at the bottom of the sky it became dark already, but as long as the top of the sky did not become dark, nami bein hashemashos, that's also bein hashemashos. Hichsef elyon v'hishva letachtoin, if the bottom and the top of the sky became equally dark, then laila, then it's night. That's one pshat. This is Rabbi's pshat in the name of Shmuel. Rav Yosef Amar Rav Yudah Mashmul, Rav Yosef said in the name of Rav Yudah Mashmul, Hachiketani. This is how you have to read the Braisa. Mishetishka chama, from when the sun comes down, kol zman shepnei mizrach madimin, as long as there's a reddening in the east of the sky, yaim, that's actually still day. That's not even the beginning of bein hashemashos yet. Hichsef atachtoin v'lo hichsef elyon, if that reddening is gone and the bottom of the sky is black and the top of the sky is still light, then bein hashemashos, that's when bein hashemashos begins. Hichsef elyon v'hishva letachtoin, when the top and the bottom of the sky become dark, then laila, that's considered to be night. So here we have an argument in the duration of bein hashemashos, and according to Rabbi, bein hashemashos is a bit longer, because it starts from Shkiyas Achama even if there's still reddening in the sky. And according to Rav Yosef, bein hashemashos is shorter, because bein hashemashos starts later. It only starts when the bottom part of the sky becomes dark. So the Gemara will now explain that va'ozdul tamayu, they both follow their opinion that they said elsewhere. The Itmar, we learned elsewhere, Shir bein hashemashos, how long is bein hashemashos? Bekama, how long is it? Omar Rabbo, Omar Rav Yehuda, Omar Shmuel. So Rabbi said in the name of Shmuel, in the name of Rav Yehuda, in the name of Shmuel, Shloisha Chelkei Mil. The duration of bein hashemashos are 3 parts of a mil. So the Gemara questions this. My gimel chelke mil. What does this mean? 3 parts of a mil. Ilay metlase palge mila. 3 half mils. So that's basically a mil and a half. Name a mil mechza. So why didn't he simply say a mil and a half? Ela tlase tilse mila. 3 times a third of a mil. Name a mil. 3 times a third of a mil is a mil. So why didn't he just say that the duration is a mil? Ella, rather, what he meant is tlasa rivi mila, 3/4 of a mil. That's the duration of a mil, which would be about 13.5 minutes. That's a 3/4 of 18 minutes. Rav Yosef Amar Rav Yehuda. However, Rav Yosef Amar Rav Yehuda said, Amar Shmuel, the name of Shmuel, Shnei Chalkei mil. That the duration of bein hashemashos is 2 parts of a mil. Again, the Gemara asks, "My shnei chelke mil." What does it mean, 2 parts of a mil? Ilay metrei palge mila doesn't mean 2 halves of a mil. So they lame a mil. He should have said a mil. That's 1 mil. The ela trei rivi mila. So the Gemara skips to 2/4 of a mil. So it should be similar to what Rabbi said, as we concluded according to Rabbi. Lame chatzi mil. 2/4 of a mil is a half a mil. Why didn't he say a half a mil? Ella, rather, what he was referring to was today tilsi mil, 2/3 of a mil, which is a bit less than 3/4 of a mil. Okay, so now what's the difference between in time? What's the difference between 3/4 of a mil or 2/3 of a mil? My beinayu, how much is the difference? And for the Gemara, ikke beinayu palga de danka, a half a danka. A danka is a 1/6 of a dinner, so a half of a danka would be a 1/12. So the difference between the two is a 1/12 of a mil. That's the cheshbon that it comes out, and we'll stop at this point. So here we see that Rabbi had a bit of a longer bein hashemashos, following his opinion before that he said that bein hashemashos begins earlier, even when they're still reddening in the sky. And Rav Yosef had a bit shorter of a bein hashemashos, more like 12 minutes, not 13.5 minutes, but about 12 minutes, and he began the bein hashemashos later, and therefore he says it's 2/3 of a mil. That ends the Gemara for tomorrow, actually. This is in the Daf Yomi cycle. This is the Gemara tomorrow. And in Mitzvah Shem, Matzah Yom Tif, or Matzah Shabbos, that is, on Chol HaMoed, we will have a shir, and we'll try to be mashlim over that shir. And the next shir, the Blat, to be able to catch up with the schedule. So everybody should have a very good Yom Tif, and Zman Chereseinu, with yourself, with your family, and everything. And we should only have Sudas Tevis, and we should only see and experience together the Gula Shlema, and we should be in Yerushalayim, Kodesh, take it from the Yad Mamish.